The chill of the basement seeped into my bones as Bastian, Regina, and I huddled around the table, the flickering light of the fireplace casting eerie shadows on the walls. Regina had lit the fire to ward off the cold, but the warmth did little to ease the tension that hung heavy in the air. We each focused on our assigned tasks, determined to unravel the secrets hidden within Dr. Hathaway's annotated copy of the Voynich Manuscript. I concentrated on decoding a letter tucked inside the pages, while Regina worked on deciphering Hathaway's side notes on the herbal pages. Bastian, meanwhile, scrutinized a folded letter stuck inside the front cover of the manuscript. As I carefully applied the decoding method using the gadfly, the words began to take shape, revealing a correspondence between two remarkable women. My heart raced as I read the letter, realizing it was Elizebeth Friedman's response to Ethel Voynich.
Dear Mrs. Voynich, I hope this letter finds you in good spirits. I wanted to take a moment to express my sincerest gratitude for sharing your invaluable insights and research on the Voynich Manuscript. Your letter has been a guiding light to unravel the secrets hidden within this enigmatic text. Our study group has been diligently working on the manuscript, and we believe it is likely written in an invented language, rather than a simple substitution cipher of an existing language. We also note there are no mistakes in the manuscript, a clear indication that it is copied from an older version. As for my own secret efforts, after carefully studying the manuscript and considering the information you provided, I believe I may have made a significant breakthrough. Using the labels close to images of plants and stars, I transcribed some of the glyphs to ancient Hebrew, due to similarities, and then to English. This is not an exact science, as both Voynichese and ancient Hebrew combine root words into new compound words. To bring the challenge to life, bookworm could be interpreted as a worm in a book for someone not familiar with English. An insight came from your letter and from the poppy, which is very present throughout the manuscript. I tested our hypothesis of whether all or part of the manuscript could, in fact, be related to the myths of Demeter and Persephone, and rites that date as far back as the Minoan Bronze Age civilization. I got an astonishingly high success rate. At this stage, I am going to refrain from sharing complete paragraphs, mostly because some are nonsensical, while others leave significant room for interpretation, but I attach some of the words, phrases, and themes. I would like to warn you that the Voynich covers issues related to women's medicine, such as fertility, termination of pregnancy, sexuality, etc., that may be disturbing to sensitive minds. Finally, the manuscript may seem disjointed and fragmented at first glance, but there is an underlying structure. It appears that the circular diagram in Folio 57V, the bathing women in the balneological section, and the herbal and pharmaceutical folios may work together to encode a hidden recipe. The circular diagram, with its concentric rings of symbols, bears a striking resemblance to the combinatorial wheels of Ramon Lull's Ars Combinatoria. Each ring seems to represent a key concept, while the position and orientation of the bathing women in the balneological folios act as pointers, guiding the reader through the diagram to generate a specific permutation. This permutation, in turn, references specific herbal and pharmaceutical folios, which provide the necessary components for the recipe. The Y'all text folios at the end of the manuscript likely contain the final instructions for preparation. It is difficult to say with certainty whether this ingenious system was devised in the medieval period when the present copy was made, perhaps as a means to protect the knowledge from the scrutiny of the Inquisition, or if it was present in the original source material. Albert Rahm's research on the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient Greek astronomical computer, suggests that complex encoding systems were not beyond the capabilities of earlier civilizations. My husband and I will continue to work with scholars and experts from different fields to gain a better understanding of the manuscript's content and context. However, I can't help but notice a growing interest in the manuscript from certain quarters. J. Edgar Hoover, in particular, has taken a somewhat obsessive interest in the activities of our research group. I must admit some recent anonymous threats give me pause. I assure you that I will maintain the utmost secrecy regarding my findings, as I understand the sensitive nature of this knowledge. I will write to you again as my work progresses, and I look forward to any further insights or suggestions you may have. Once again, I cannot thank you enough for your invaluable contributions to this field of study. Very truly yours, Elizebeth Friedman, 5th of January, 1945.
As I finished reading the letter aloud, Regina leapt to her feet with excitement.
I've got it!
She waved her notes in the air.
According to Hathaway's annotations, Elizebeth managed to translate a partial recipe for an elixir using the approach outlined in her letter, with the circular diagram as a guide.
Regina clutched the notes to her chest, kissing them feverishly.
This is it, the key to heaven itself.
She carefully folded the paper and tucked it into her pocket, her hand lingering there as if to reassure herself of its safety. Bastian and I exchanged a glance, then I turned our attention to him, eager to hear what he had discovered. He stared at Regina, his eyes narrowed with suspicion, before finally speaking.
Dr. Hathaway's letter suggests that once her great-grandmother understood the manuscript's structure, she realized it was a multidimensional tapestry of interwoven knowledge, a complex system of wheels and words and images, each element positioned with deliberate care to point to a greater truth. It's like a cosmic dance, a symphony of secrets hidden in plain sight.
He paused, his eyes distant as if lost in thought.
Imagine a vast, intricate machine, not unlike gears and cogs, but of pages and ink. Each folio, a delicate component, precisely placed to guide the initiated through a labyrinth of meaning. The bathing women, the herbal drawings, the cosmological charts, all working in harmony to unlock the doors of perception, to guide the seeker on a journey through the very fabric of reality itself.
Bastian's words hung in the air, painting a vivid picture of the manuscript's complex beauty. I found myself entranced, drawn into the vision of a world where ancient wisdom lay hidden, waiting to be discovered.
But Elizebeth knew she was dealing with a system far beyond her time.
Bastian continued, his brow furrowed in concentration.
She realized that to truly decipher all its secrets, she would need the help of machines that could think, that could process multidimensional, multimodal information with a speed and complexity far beyond the human mind.
He smiled wryly, shaking his head.
It was the 1950s, the dawn of the computer age. The ENIAC and the UNIVAC, the first general-purpose computers, had just been unveiled. But even these marvels of technology were primitive compared to what Elizebeth envisioned. She knew that the true key to unlocking the Voynich Manuscript lay in the future, in the hands of a new generation of codebreakers.
Bastian fell silent, his expression darkening. Regina and I leaned forward, hanging on his every word.
There's much more, passages I won't share. Hathaway's letter ends with a warning. She says she initially trusted all members of the Order of the Nine Realms, but later realized a few radicals within their ranks were committed not just to smashing the patriarchy, but to destroying all men.
Regina scoffed, her eyes blazing.
Look, we've all got plenty of reasons to be mad at men. But why the hell would we go and ruin everything our sisters have been working for all these years? My grandmother's work? We're not about to become the thing we're trying to crush.
See?
Bastian looked at me.
They're trying to crush us.
That's ridiculous. Emily would never say such things about us. You're lying, Bastian Ham. You're an agent of the FBI, of the patriarchy, trying to sow distrust and chaos.
Bastian's face reddened, his jaw clenching with barely controlled rage.
I'm telling you what I read. There's more in this letter, things I won't share with you. Hathaway is on the run, unsure of who to trust. She's warning us to be careful.
Oh, really?
Regina sneered, her lips curling into a mocking smile.
And why should we trust you, Bastian? You, who've been spreading lies and misinformation about the manuscript, about Amalia's work. How do we know you're not the one trying to lead us astray? Give me that letter.
Bastian slammed his fist on the table, making me jump.
Damn it, Regina. I'm trying to protect Amalia, to keep her safe from whatever dangerous game you and your little cult are playing.
Regina laughed, a harsh biting sound.
Protect her? By undermining her at every turn? By making her doubt herself? Doubt the very truth she's fighting to uncover? You're nothing but a traitor, Bastian Ham. A liar and a fraud.
The tension in the room was palpable as Regina and Bastian faced off, their words laced with accusation and suspicion. I felt torn, unsure of who to believe. They both seemed so certain, so convinced of their own truths. In a flash, Regina lunged for Bastian, her hands grasping for the letter. They grappled for control, their voices rising in a cacophony of anger and frustration. I watched in horror as the letter slipped from their fingers, fluttering into the fireplace, where it was quickly consumed by the flames. Whatever claims were laid out in it, I could no longer verify them. Bastian turned to me, his eyes wide with urgency.
Amalia, we need to go. Hathaway was clear about what we need to do next. We can't stay here.
I hesitated, glancing between Bastian and Regina, my heart racing with uncertainty. Regina's warning echoed in my mind, urging me to be cautious, to question Bastian's motives. I had reasons to doubt him. But as I looked into his eyes, I saw a flicker of sincerity, a desperation that seemed all too real. I made my decision. Gathering up the manuscript and all the notes, I turned to follow Bastian, my steps heavy with the weight of my choice. Regina's voice rang out behind me, pleading, warning, but I didn't look back. I couldn't afford to second-guess myself, not now. As Bastian and I fled into the streets, the cold air stinging my face, I felt a sense of unease settle over me. The truth lay somewhere ahead, buried in the pages of the manuscript and the secrets of the past. But with each step, I was being pulled deeper into a web of lies and betrayal, unsure of who to trust or where to turn. The path forward wasn't clear. I could only hope that my instincts would guide me, that the light of truth would pierce the darkness before it was too late. I glanced at him. Where are we going?